We do have Adam Richards here from Old Port Chambers, and again this is a name that should be familiar to many of you. I know it certainly comes up every 3 to 5 seconds in our world. So Adam, we appreciate all your hard work. Please share.
Okay, so I'll take you back about 6 months. Around about 6 months ago, I was sitting at my desk and I booked with my doctor for my vaccine. And I started to ask the question, what am I going to do about my kids? Because I'd heard that it wasn't such a good idea for kids. And I thought I'd better do my due diligence. And I started to look into it. And the more I looked into it, the more uncomfortable I became. And then the more I looked into it, even more uncomfortable. And at one point I decided I wasn't going to get vaccinated, and by God they weren't getting their hands on my kids. And I got to confess to you, I was pretty gutless. I laid really low. My wife was out posting and protesting and that, because she's got a lot more courage and a lot more ticker than I got. But I sat back, kept quiet, because in my profession, it doesn't do that. Stick your head up above the parapet. And at one point I actually had to ask my wife, I was looking in the mirror one morning and I'm shaving. And I'm looking at myself going, this battle, there's no one in my profession that I could see. I saw people interstate, but here in South Australia, there was no one sticking their hand up except for Stuart Lindsay and his crew. And by God, you guys should get behind them. 100%. They are heroes. And the money they're trying to raise, some people go to me 150 grand, oh, that's a bit rich. You want to know something, interstate, 150 grand to get your team of lawyers for about 5 days. Those guys will be putting in an enormous amount of work. And in terms of our profession, I always like to say to people, at law school we get a special class in how to eat people alive from the wallet up. The bottom line is that the money they're asking, you know, about 95 grand, Stuart told me today, that's a pittance in that game. But I had to ask myself, what was I going to do? I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just going, what the hell are you doing staying silent? So I got on my Facebook, I put up a couple of posts, and I got myself blocked by a whole bunch of friends that I campaigned in the refugee campaigns that I was devoted to. And yeah, anyone here been ostracised by family and friends? Stick your hand up. Yeah, we all know that feeling, don't we? So I'm asking myself the question, and I started to put it out there, and then I started to think, what can I do? As the mandate came closer, and I'm looking at what's about to be done to the nurses and the doctors and the administrative staff who saved my life 5 years ago, I had to ask myself the question about where my balls were. Anyway, at some point I decided I had to make this my fight. And I got to say, I'm a criminal lawyer by trade, but I've been learning industrial law real fast. And I say this to you, my fellow South Australians, there are a lot of lawyers who think the way I think, and there's a bunch of us in my team. My team of lawyers has 3 people in it who are fully vaccinated, but like me, they see the destruction of the civil rights of our community, the lawfare on civil rights, and they're not putting up with it. So I did this undertaking. Someone said to me, why are you doing this, Adam? And here's a little exercise I did last Sunday when I met with some people at my chambers. And the really only works if people are prepared to be honest. So I'm asking a favour of you. What I'd ask is, if you actually know anyone who's died of COVID or has been made really sick by it, honest to God, stick your hand up, and there must be a fair few here. Look around, folks. We see and we know this is a really serious illness because we are all victims of a germ warfare experiment gone wrong, right? Yes. And we are all of us scared. Yes. Those who are vaccinated and those who are unvaccinated, we are all in the same boat together. So we've seen how many people know people who have been harmed or killed by COVID. Now I want to ask another question, and again, be honest. How many people here know somebody who has either died from the vaccine or been injured by the vaccine? And if you've had more than one, you can stick up 2 hands. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I am fighting this thing. Because as we drove here today, my wife was on the phone with a dear friend, and that dear friend shared with her the death of her 17-year-old grandson on the 8th of November, who dropped dead 2 months after the vaccine. But of course, it wasn't caused by the vaccine. We know others. A 30-year-old friend of my son's died, but that wasn't caused by the vaccine. A 75-year-old bloke called Nelson, who partied me into the ground about 1.5 years ago, 6 months after the vaccine, a rare blood condition. Goodness. I get he's 75, but people are keeling over. Now maybe that's all an accident, I don't know. But the one thing I do know about is that when people no longer have the choice about whether to stick something in themselves that is potentially dangerous, something has gone very, very wrong. I know in the criminal law, if you stick something in someone without their consent, they call it rape. I will stand with my community. I don't know what difference I'll make. All I know is I'm going to fight. I've got kids. I've got no damn choice.